welcome to another episode of Ed Transformed. Ed Transformed is brought to you by School of the Future International Academy in Sort Sofia. Sofia is a non-profit, non-governmental organization which supports educational institutions, school leaders and educators in their effort to improve their knowledge and skills. This way, we feel we contribute to the creation of equal opportunities for every student in the world. This is a series of podcasts where we try to start discussions on various topics that interest the modern educational community. I am Natasa Nika, Project Manager of Sofia, of the non-profit organization Curiosity Learning. Hello, Ron.
Hello, Natasa.
We are very eager to learn more about Curiosity Learning. Do you want to introduce yourself to the public and say a little bit about you and how you got inspired to start the organization?
Sure, sounds good. So my name's Ron. I'm currently based in Lisbon. A little bit about me. I like to say I'm a jack of all trades. I enjoy learning. I enjoy creating different things. And that, in a way, that's kind of why and how Curiosity Learning. As a kid, I loved learning and creating and exploring. And I felt, as I went through the school system, I felt that passion and that curiosity kind of dwindle. And I thought, okay, this doesn't make sense. If we're trying to make lifelong learners, if we're trying to make people enjoy learning and learn outside of school, somehow school makes learning not fun. School makes people demotivated to learn. It gets a bad taste for that word, learning. So I thought, okay, I asked myself two questions, like the way it started. I asked myself two questions. First is, if I could redesign it, how would it look like last year of high school? And I was like, okay, so I can do a lot of things. I can maybe try to talk to the teachers. I can try to... I was a Boy Scout for a long time. It was not only scouting, boys and girls. So I come from the space of non-formal learning, non-formal education. I know how to set up spaces. And I thought, okay, why can't we just do that in schools? Like, this is very valid, very valuable. So this is kind of where it first started. When I was in my last year of high school, I set up the first Curiosity Club, essentially a space where people can learn anything they're curious about by creating projects together. This was how I imagined education to be. So, okay, I can just set it up, a little group of 10 people, see, okay, let's test this, let's try it out. That's what I did, and it worked really well. At 13 kids that came, it was ages 11 to 15. They came once a week to learn and explore the things they were curious about. And it could be anything. It's funny. It's funny. When I say this, sometimes people immediately think, oh, it's like technology club. Or some people, at the same time, some people immediately think, oh, it's like art club. I'm like, neither or both. It's whatever it is. It's Curiosity Club.
Can you give us some examples of what's Curiosity Club, like projects and stuff that people have been engaging with?
Yeah, for sure. So it depends. When it was first started, I can share some examples from the club that I was running. We had one learner make a project about how trees communicate. So like the biology, something they were interested in. So they did some research. They found out, and they made a little like whiteboard animation video about it. It's really cool. Another one was, we had some short films that were being made. Some people editing like a YouTube montage, like learning how to video edit. One other one was about Go. Do you know Go? It's like the old game. It's an ancient board game.
No, not familiar myself, but I bet a lot of people out there know about it. I'm not very good with games and stuff like that.
So it was really cool. He learned the thing, and then his project was to find the nice. And now the projects, it like I said, it can be anything. So we try to provide the space. We get people together, say, hey, you can do it, providing guidance. But at the end of the day, the content, the projects themselves, they decide, and it's always intriguing to see what will be decided.
And would you connect people that they can collaborate on their projects? Like, would you connect the person with the trees with the person with the experimenting with videography to see if they can do something together, or they're separate streams of.
They could be connected if they would like to be. As in, like, the way the club works, we have 6 building blocks. This is a bit more practical, more technical. These are team building, getting curious, planning projects, working on projects, sharing experiences, and mini projects. So usually when you're planning your mini projects, what's the next thing you're going to do, you kind of hear from the rest of the group, what are people working on? So that's when you kind of see, okay, oh, I want to do this. Maybe I'll make a video. Does anybody want to make a video with me on this? And then like they can come together. One person does the video, one person does the thing. But usually when there's but the person that does the trees won't always do the trees. This is this project. Maybe the next time they're gonna do something about physics or art. Like they might come up with something different, and then they will come together and plan a project with the group and make a different team. It's very very fluid and very flexible in that sense.
Great. And how did you end up having at the moment more than 20 physical curiosity clubs? And where are they?
There are all over the world. Quite a few in Africa. I think 1 or 2 in Latin America and a few in Asia. I guess we kind of changed the model that helped us grow. At first we tried, so when I was in high school, I reached out to other schools in the Netherlands. I was in the Netherlands at the time. I reached out to other IB schools, which was like the one I was in. To share, this is a project I did. I would love to share it with your students to see if anybody's interested. And I got some presentations, but I think part of it was because I was a student. Like when we tried to do this, we found it was much harder to get yeses from schools. And even we said yes, like sometimes school asks, okay, so what's in it for us as a school? Like they see the value for the students, but it was more like a business to business type thing, selling a service to a school. But then we realized that this is not what we're doing. We're not trying to sell a service to a school. The people who get value from the clubs are the students, are the people, are the learners, are the guides, not the schools. So we kind of pivoted around January last year, where we said, okay, so we're going to just open up applications. We're going to share applications and have guides who want to start a club apply directly. We put it up on like a platform for different opportunities. We had like over 500 people apply to start a curiosity club, which was a big surprise. We were not expecting so many people to apply. Now we had to actually go through all the applications and see which ones were good. So that gave us a lot of work, but it was good. It's a good problem to have. So I guess that's the how. Like we people could see the vision, people could see the problem that it was solving, and people want to start clubs. People want to make this change. People see the importance of it. So yeah.
So you spoke about how your education and the educational environment made you feel that you were getting less and less curious about stuff. What is your vision for the future of education? And I'm curious, how do you see your initiative contributing to that?
It's a big question.
Yes, indeed. We don't have to get into many details, but it's just your broader vision of what education could be in the future.
I think in short is that it's run for the people that are in it. Like it's serving the people that are in it rather than the people who are in charge of it. So serving the students, serving the learner, serving whoever is in it. In the longer version of that, I would say I imagine that anybody can set up learning spaces, and that these learning spaces are recognized, like the learning that happens in the spaces are recognized by the people that do the recognition. So either universities, jobs, like
authorities
able to make, if anybody is able to make a learning space and people can go there and learn what they'd like or what they'd not like, not learn what they don't like, then I think we can get really far, because then it's based around curiosity. It's based around you have the choice, the autonomy of where to go. You have the choice of what to do. Yeah. Like I'm saying this, but then I'm also thinking why? Like why should it look this way? I think it allows for thriving. It allows for people to explore, allows people to be curious. It gives the space At the end of the day, right now, even if I do want to learn about video editing, I might have to follow a course. I can't just learn on YouTube and people will recognize that. I could, maybe with like projects. Like there are different ways around to show it, but not everything can be shown in this way. So it's always, I think if we're able to allow anybody to kind of create a school, I feel like school has this connotation. That's why I said I feel like school has this connotation. That's why I said learning space. If we allow anyone to create a learning space and have that learning recognized, that means we're able to learn anything. That means anybody can learn anything. And I think it's amazing. I don't know how short that was, but that's the way I see it. And the way what we're doing, I think, is that.
Great. No, I'm 100% with you. I feel that learning spaces could be more flexible, broader, and inviting for people to contribute. And I see the need of having a structure around the flexibility, so the learning that happens in spaces and places like this can be recognized. Also, in this organization and in this podcast, we have said it a number of times that we think that unless the universities and authorities do not recognize other forms of assessment and evaluation, change in the ways school operate and the education they offer. We have said a number of times that we feel, and all the research backs this opinion, that if we are all at the end working towards an exam, this does not allow the inspired teachers and the inspired students out there to experiment with more forms of learning and working. So yes, I totally understand what you're saying about the validation and the recognition of these places and spaces and efforts. Everything started from a club. I'm sure that out there, school leaders that got inspired and that would be very willing to start a club in their school. What advice would you give them? How could they launch a meaningful club in their school environments?
Good question. Honestly, take it a step back and say don't. This depends on the school leader and the people in charge, but the idea, what we really try to do is that the clubs are set up, run by young people for young people. So if you're around the age of 20, you run the club for a year. So could a school leader set up a club? They could, but then it would be a club for teachers, not for the students. Yeah.
Great idea as well. How could they guide or consult or support students in what do they need? What are the integral parts of a successful learning club? How could they guide their students to start an initiative like this?
I think the first step is letting them know it exists and that they will get the support from the school. Because a lot of the times students are scared to start because they're scared to fail. But if they know that the school is supporting it, they might be more inclined to give it a shot. The second thing is not to force anybody to do it. I think if someone's listening and they're like, "Oh, I'd love to have a curiosity club at my school," but there's no, and after telling students they can set it up and run it and they'll support, there's no student thing to do about it. If we're not, like, the whole point of the club is to do the things you're intrinsically motivated to do. But if you need to motivate the students by telling them, "Oh, you can miss class," or "Oh, it'll look good on your resume," that's not really the point. So I would say providing support, letting them know they can. They can do it, and really a big thing that we do is saying, "Yes, you can." Like, "Oh, this sounds amazing. You can do it." That feeling of competence. I think that is something really big that a teacher or a school leader could do with the students. But at the end of the day, it's the choice of the people that said.
Let's speak a little bit about the Curiosity Camp. What is it and how is it different to Curiosity Clubs?
So the first Curiosity Camp was planned in 2020, December of 2020. That was when I was running the club. I was 17. One parent paid and registered their kid to the club, to the camp, sorry. That was run by a 17-year-old. Still looking back and find that crazy. But anyhow, the point is, it's very similar. It's the same concept as the club. where learners come and they can learn anything they're curious about by creating projects together. But this time, or this year, it's going to be 7 days, every day, doing these things. Which, in terms of philosophy, it's the same. It's just instead of once a week, it's every day for 7 days. This year, we're doing this camp a little bit differently. One of the big things is that we did last year is that we planned activities, but we said whatever you want to join, you join. Whatever you don't want to join, you don't have to. And then we encouraged them to also make activities, but that didn't happen as much. That worked really well. People really enjoyed. They're coming back this year. But this year, we're going to do it a bit differently. We're going to start the camp having nothing planned. It's 7 days, so it's a bit come together with the learners and the guides. Plan the camp together. Okay, so how do you want it to look like? We did part of it last year, where the first day we made the camp rules together with the learners and the guides, which worked really nicely. But this time we'll plan the program together. I think it'll be really nice. And it's really to create this co-creation space and give them ownership. And I think that's a big part of what the club is about, like showing them they can, giving them the freedom to do anything. At the end of the day, a big thing with the clubs is no one is forced to be there. The clubs are free, so there's no push from the parents because the parents pay. We really tried to make sure that every single person that comes that week is there because they want to be there. And it's scary. That's a really scary thing because you have nothing set technically. I remember when I was running it thinking, okay, I don't know how many people are going to join today. But every day, every week we had people joining. That's really cool. So it's kind of trying to bring that into the camp, because with the camp it's a bit harder to just leave because you're at a camp and it is paid for. So giving them that autonomy and that flexibility on where do you want to join, what you don't want to join, how do you want to plan it out is that's what we're going to try this year.
This year, right? Like having them to develop the camp in essentially themselves. It is a very scary thing. Congratulations for your brave decision. It is very brave to have people in one room without a set schedule and a set schedule. Well, set. So good luck. I'm sure it will go great, but it's a very brave decision. What's the best way for somebody who's interested to connect with Curiosity Learning and set their own club?
On the website, there's details. curiositylearning.org. We're actually going to be curiositylearning.org. We're actually going to be doing a website redesign shortly that'll make it a bit more clear. But we do have a page for apply to start a club, and then there's an application process where you fill in a form. And the next round of clubs will either open in August or in February. We're still deciding. But if you want to have a chat, or like not necessarily open a club, but more like a partnership or support or just curious, really, there's also a contact page there. You can send an email to curious@curiositylearning.org, and we'll be sure to get back to you. We'll be sure to get back to you.
Great. And in terms of challenges, what do you feel are the biggest challenges in this effort of setting up a Curiosity Club, but also participating as a participant in a Curiosity Club?
The challenges of setting up a Curiosity Club to run is people and a place. That's it. Like some skills of knowing how to run a group and like facilitate sessions and ideas for activities, yes. But at the end, like really, just a space and people to join. Sometimes one is easy. Sometimes one is easy, sometimes the other, sometimes neither of them are easy. So I guess the biggest challenge is either finding people to join your club or finding a space for the club to run. Because I think if I recall correctly, all of the spaces that are running because they believe in the vision and the idea, and that it's run by local people, doing it also for free. So they usually give a space for you, but it's sometimes hard to find people that want to do that and have the space to give. So that's one issue. And the second one is just getting the word out there that it exists, because the organization is still quite small. So not many people know that this thing exists. So they're not looking for it locally yet. Yeah. So those are the two challenges, I would say.
Great. You mentioned earlier that there are guides in the clubs. What is their role?
Yeah, so the guides are the people that set up the club and run the club. Their role is to run the club. Like they're in charge of the club in that space. And we support them. We have weekly calls with the guides to see how things are going, to support with any issues that are happening. And we give them workshops. We run workshops with different topics. Once every 6 months, we have a full day. It's called the Guide Training Experience, where it's a full day. We go into, okay, what is a Curiosity Club? How do you set it up? Like, run a group. How do you listen to for certain things? So we support them, but the idea long term is that they support each other as well. So creating this community with co-support. The long term vision. It's getting there. Once every 2 weeks, we do a sharing experience session, and once every 2 weeks, we have the workshop. The workshop is run by us. The sharing experience is more run by the groups. So people share problems, share how things are going, and they support one another in navigating these issues. We're there as well to give thoughts, but the idea is that they support one another.
Excellent. That will probably be my last question, but I was very curious to know, like, I presume there is so many projects, ideas. Is there a platform where you collect everything, you showcase where curiosity has led people in the clubs?
We're working on it.
Good.
Yeah, it doesn't exist.
It would be very interesting to see, and since you are international, it will be very interesting. It will be very interesting to me, at least, to see where in different corners of the world what people are curious about. What have they experimented with?
What we're realizing is to grow, to get more people. One of the biggest things we need is a solid structure. We're now working on developing like an online platform shortly, but these things take time. But it would be essentially that, a place for the learners to share the projects, share updates, for the guides to help them run the club, and all these things.
Brilliant. So I wish you the best for the future of your organization.
Thank you so much.
I see brilliant future for your organization in the future. I'll be honest, I'm a big fan. I'm a big fan of non-formal education. Anyways, I find it key for the transformation of education and for changing people's lives. People get a lot of opportunities to be exposed to a lot of different things in non-formal education and a lot of different things in non-formal education initiatives like yours. And I feel that the education community should all pay a little bit closer attention to what you guys do and support you. I don't know if there's anything else you would like to share with the audience before we say goodbye.
I hope.
Perfect. Ron, thank you very much. I'll leave, of course, all the details regarding the Curiosity Learning in the description of this podcast, both on YouTube and Spotify. And I'll see you in the next one. Thank you very much for listening.